Might as well just introduce myself real quick. My name is D. Cosmic, and I'm joined by Scruffington.
Hello, everyone.
And this is Devil May Cry 5. New game plus Faustless DevilHunter. So Faustless, basically the difference between this and normal New Game Plus is that Dante has a weapon called the Faustat, which is really, really overpowered, and so Dante in this category does not use it. There's a lot that we kind of got to cover in a very short amount of time here. So I'm going to try and do my best to pace the commentary well enough. I hope I don't overload y'all with information. Nero here, this guy with the motorcycle sword, or I guess the sword that has a motorcycle engine in it. He has his Devil Trigger, a powered up state in this in New Game Plus. He doesn't have this when you start a fresh file. So right off the bat, both players are going to have like a ton of options for the character that you wouldn't normally have on a fresh file. Yeah, this is a race between Zero Madoki and Yamanari. And so this character has Devil Breakers or consumables that he uses to do different attacks. You can have a maximum of 8 at a time. Normally on a fresh file, we upgrade all these, but in New Game Plus, you just have all this right off the bat. So they're going to have their Devil Trigger to be able to go powered up and take out the first boss here, which is just a big root, big tree root. And the Devil Trigger also allows you to ignore attacks as well, which is why you just kind of see them just going into it straight away. And the two Devil Breakers that they used here were Overture, which is the blue one, and Gerbera, which is the sort of like yellowish screen. And that's the first boss down.
Yeah, it looks like they got through it pretty quickly.
So the big thing here with Devil Trigger on Nero is that normally he has a move where he uses a wire to snatch enemies to himself or pull them to him, or like a grab. He gets a double version of this in Devil Trigger. When he goes into his powered up state, he can pull 2 enemies to himself at once. And so we use this a lot to do a lot of wave clear. And he has a move called Roulette Spin, where he'll just spin in the air with his sword. And you use this to just mulch up different enemies. You're going to see them use this quite a bit, as well as like a few other things to just kind of like wreck through all the hordes of demons. Coming into the first fight here, we're going to be fighting the sort of like the cannon fodder of this game, is the Impusas. They're the weakest enemy in the game. Overture is going to just basically take them out with the big lightning hand there that you see. It does a whole lot of damage, especially on these, like the normal difficulty, which is what they're playing on, or DevilHunter. And yeah, Nero in New Game Plus is extremely strong. Like I always tell people that if you really want to play Nero at his best, just play New Game Plus. Yeah, New Game Plus for vanilla DMC5, it was kind of decided early on that New Game Plus would start after the prologue fight. There are actually like different like prologue is just an entirely different category for New Game Plus. It varies totally depending on what you would want to do. So they decided to just kind of have it start on mission 1 and just go from there.
It is different in Special Edition, but for this run, it starts in mission 1.
Yeah, for vanilla DMC5, they just start from mission 1, and there you see the roulette spins going to work there on Zero Madoki's screen. I should note something, by the way, about like these two runners as well, is if you watch a lot of their runs, Yamanari just kind of goes for everything. He's an absolute madman, especially when it comes to the skips that are in this game, and Zero definitely seems like he prefers to play a little bit more consistent. Yamanaro just seems to just go for stuff.
Yeah, definitely makes for a more exciting run to watch for Yamanaro, but also a little more volatile. So if he does happen to mess up some of these skips later on, that could be a chance for Zero to catch up, because it's important to note that Yamanaro currently has the record in this category. But Zero Madoki's in 2nd place, so these are the top 2 runners here.
Absolutely. This first couple of levels here, a lot of this is pretty much just straight execution with Nero. You see like the air dashes there with the sword as well, trying to just get down the hallway as quick as possible. I love the Overture Bomb strats here too. It's some of my favorite strats in the game. And this next room here, Yamanaro is going to use the big or the powered up version of Gerbera in order to just send a bunch of lasers around the room and just take out all of the enemies here. A little bit of the devil trigger usage here, take out the one enemy there to pop the next wave, and then just gets to stand by the door. Same thing here happening on Zero's screen now. So we're probably gonna see these paths diverge a little bit more, no pun intended, because there's levels called divergence. Yeah, so yeah, DMC5 people got that one. Anyway, so we're gonna see these paths diverge a little bit more, I think, after we get through the first couple of Nero sections here, because that's really where the next we're really where I guess what's the word for it? Where your metal is tested, so to speak, with the character V, who's a summoner. But we'll get into him in a little bit. So the first boss here that Yamanaro is coming up on is called Goliath. And so the strategy that Yamanaro is going to be using here is he's going to be using the punchline. I'm sorry, he's going to be using the punchline Devil Breaker to just kind of kill Goliath on the roof and just knock him down and just loop it. Meanwhile, you're going to see Zero here doing a little bit more of an optimal strategy where he's going to be planting 3 overture bombs onto Goliath. And you're going to be able to just jump. He's going to be able to jump cancel the first part of the overture bomb here. And then that's going to just allow him to just blow up those. You're just going to do a lot of damage there. And then Goliath is going to jump down into the bottom here, and then Zero is going to want to stun him so that he can then do the powered up version of the Buster Arm that you see there. Does a whole lot of damage when you actually get it to work here. So let's see if he actually gets it. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Pretty good. So you see, even as far behind as Zero was, still made up for it pretty well, just with the faster strat there. And no, the language is not actually a factor in this run. You're not actually gated at all by language. In terms of because there's no dialogue options, I should say, or no dialogue cues that sort of prevent you from progressing. The only dialogue thing that has to play one after the other before you can do something, there's actually a dialogue skip that we can do on mission 2, and on New Game Plus it doesn't even really play it. I don't think it plays it. No, never mind. It's yeah, okay. So
yeah, I think it gets skipped over.
Yeah, it gets skipped over, but yeah, so there's just literally no thing. Both of these runners are Japanese, but I think that Yamanaro just plays in Russian text. It definitely looks Russian. So this skip that you're going to see here, or the out of bounds after these couple of fights, is called University Skip. And they're going to be clipping out of bounds using Nero's ground slam with his sword, where he'll just go straight down. And that will cause him to sort of get wedged in between 2 invisible walls outside of the bounds of the level, and then he'll start walking on water.
Yeah, so you'll see it on Yamanaro's screen in a second.
Yeah, you're gonna see it on Yamanaro's screen here in a second, and they're gonna actually use this to go straight to the boss. A little bit of trouble there. Yep, there we go. Very nice. Definitely going to lose a little bit of time for that, though, Yamanaro is. So we'll see if Zero can kind of take advantage of that. Yamanaro also uses a very interesting version of University Skip, where he cancels the sort of landing animation of Punchline. Because you can ride Punchline like a surfboard. And he's going to use it to just kind of cancel into a bunch of triple jumps. I'm actually curious as to what version Zero is going to use, but I know that Yamanaro kind of uses his own little patented version. Here we go. So he's going to use this to go straight to the boss.
I'll say that.
It definitely does. Yeah, it does kind of look stylish. I guess, style is the name of the game with DMC5, but there it goes. Very nice. And then maybe Zero's going to use the same one because I think that these two talk a lot. So definitely think that they're friends. So hey, what's up, Tech? I don't actually think it's faster, dude. I just know that that's what he does. Maybe he timed it. Maybe he timed it. It's pretty sick. So Yamanara's now at the boss Artemis. He's gonna just knock her down with punchline here. So she did not turn like pretty much at all during this. So she's gonna just get up. Oh no, mind, she did turn. She did turn like 180 degrees. So the more that the boss turns past, I think 90 degrees, will guarantee her getting up in that manner. However, she's at 50% health. So she's gonna go straight to the middle of the arena. And that's just a health threshold thing. Whenever she's at 50% health, she'll go straight to the middle of the arena. Same thing's going to happen here on Zero's screen as well. I think she rotated about 135 degrees. Yeah, she's just going to fly right away. And then try and just clean her up using the... he's going to just cancel the startup animation of those overtures again. You see the boss is also kind of pausing. Oh, there's a scissor here, too.
If we're being honest.
So, okay. So, to clarify, when you do out of bounds in this game, enemies that can also go out of bounds or have a teleport of some kind will follow you into later fights. So, that scissor enemy there was able to follow Zero into the fight. And because he took a little bit longer than usual, you just saw it right there in the middle of the fight. It's kind of a neat little quirk of this game. The enemies are like, you think you can escape me? No. So V here, V has an out of bounds technique where you have to align with a wall and then use the skewer here, the spike that the cat is sort of shooting out of its mouth. And that's going to cause him to just get forced through a wall because you can stand on that spike. But the game, if you're in frames where you can't actually land on it, the game is going to push you along the spike until it says, okay, now you can stand on it. And that allows you to go out of bounds. There's also a cutscene trigger here, so you can swing V's feet through the through the fence to activate the cutscene trigger. I don't remember who found that, but it's pretty cool. I think it was what's his face? I think it was Akion. Akion was also the one that found the skewer stuff. So V here uses animals or uses creatures / demons to do all of his attacks. This character is pretty abstract kind of in how he solves a lot of fights. The bird is effectively his gun, the cat is his sword, and a beast or a golem called Nightmare is his devil trigger. It's just kind of like his, big wowie super move type thing. He's going to also just clip out of bounds here with Skewer again. He's going to basically be skipping all of the fights on this level.
Except a few more times this run too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's basically no V combat left in New Game Plus except for Mission 9. I want to say Mission 9 and Mission 14. So unfortunate here. Did kind of get the is going to actually have to do the fight because he did fail to skip here. So we'll see what happens. I think he's going to. Oh, actually, no. All the enemies have despawned, so he's going to be able to just clip back out of bounds.
Oh, I guess he has to get through there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so, for sure. Unfortunate, dude.
Yeah, it is important to note these are exclusive to New Game Plus because you can't actually upgrade Skewer at this point in a new game run. So you're seeing some text specific to at least the new game run or New Game Plus runs here.
Yep. I don't think that Yamanara is filming his screen. I think that he just has to play in very low quality in order to get like a consistently high frame rate. Because a lot of these setups with Skewer, they're much better at like higher than 60 FPS, which is like it allows you to just go very, very far through the onto the spike to be able to just make the setups a little bit more consistent. On 60 FPS, they're pretty hard.
Looks like Zero's about to get it here. Yep, he just got through with promotion.
Yeah, so promotion is an ability that V has where he can teleport straight to Nightmare. And this is even if V is out of bounds and Nightmare is in bounds. So what you saw Zero just do there was summon Nightmare from out of bounds, and then Nightmare spawns in bounds, and that allows V to just get right back in bounds and skip that entire fight. So now here, they're going to also skip another fight coming up before the boss. And that's right, yeah, like basically all of the combat left for V in this run now is like a few fights on Mission 9 and bosses. That's really about it. Gonna activate the cutscene trigger here for the boss fight. Gonna go straight into Nidhogg. Nidhogg is another wall boss in DMC5. Very similar to something like Cerberus, where he effectively has 3 heads. And if you hit 3 heads here, or the 3 tentacles, Nidhogg will go into a stunned or down state. So V, this is where I can finally explain this. V has to finish off demons for the demons that he uses as weapon. They cannot kill other demons. So you see him riding Nightmare here. This is kind of the exception to this, is that Nightmare, if V is riding him, Nightmare can finish off demons as well. So in order to actually, quote unquote, kill the demons, V has to land the final blow. It's called checkmate. All of his moves, by the way, are named after chess. Pretty neat. So you see the big lightning pillars there with Griffin going off as well. Lots and lots of damage. Gonna call Nightmare back in. And looks like Yamanaro got into the fight, is gonna try and make up for a little bit of lost time here. Uses the big laser as well from Nightmare. Or the Pog laser, as I like to call it. Does a decent amount of damage. But it looks like Zero's really making good use of the advantage that he got from what's it called? From Yamanaro messing up the skips, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably going to be the deciding factor, because at least I'd say when most people are trying to learn this game, they tend to struggle a lot with the V skips, and it can be very hard to get them all in a run. And I think Yamanaro in his PB, he actually got all of them like pretty quickly. So it's really going to come down to who gets those in this run.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I'm interested to see how they do on the Dante combat as well. I feel like that's going to definitely be like a big chunk of time saved too. Mm-hmm. So this is the original place that we did skewer here for Out of Bounds. This is called Sewer Skewer, just because that's a cool name. So we're gonna clip Out of Bounds here, or I guess Zero is, because I'm not doing it. So then he's just going to come down here, and they're gonna be jumping down to a barrel that's underneath them. That's like the barrel has spawned in at this point, but the rest of this room that they're in has not. The collision has not. The frame of it has, but not the collision. So he's going to teleport to it, and the way this game treats V when he's out of bounds is that the last place that he teleports to is where the game will land him when he voids out. So he's going to now go back in bounds and be right next to the barrel. So that whole fight does not load because you've skipped the trigger for it, and you get to just go straight to the boss.
Yeah, that was a very clean skip.
Yeah, it was really nice. That was actually a version of the skip found by Yamanaro himself, so getting a little bit of his tech used against him, I guess. And that's actually another fight that deactivated. So if you activate a fight in this game by going, like, when you're out of bounds, eventually it will just deload itself. I think it might just be due to how the game handles sequence breaks. I don't actually know what triggers it, because in some cases it doesn't do that. So here's the Elder Garion Knight. So basically, I would say that we're done horsing around, but I think we just got started with this boss. And of note, this boss does a lot of damage, even on normal difficulty. So when we did basically the entire level in bounds before the out of bounds got found, you would set up going to this boss by taking a bunch of hits while killing enemies, because V doesn't have to drop damage per second while fighting enemies because of how the pets can attack while he's being attacked. So you would come into this boss fight with maybe 1 or 2 hits worth of health left, and then you would die to it and then use what's called a red orb revive, where you just use your currency in order to revive. And it takes the third tier of that, or the highest tier, takes half of the enemy's current health, and it will refill your entire devil trigger. And this includes bosses. So you would come into the fight, take like 1 or 2 hits, take the boss for half of its health, and then fight it. However, if you're at full health coming into this fight, it's better to just fight it straight up. So because of the out of bounds that got found, we now have to fight the boss like for technically a longer amount of time, but the amount of time that we save on the out of bounds is just even greater than not fighting it, basically. I know that was a lot, so I'm gonna let it sit for a second. Looks like Yamanar is just getting into the Elder Garion Knight fight here as well.
Yeah, so I think that they're only I'd say they're maybe about a minute apart at this point.
Yeah, I want to say that's about a minute and a half. And you saw the sort of like spread eagle motion that or spread out motion that V did. I don't actually know what you would call that. The matrix motion, where he sent out a bunch of canes or swords into the air. It's called Royal Fork, and it's an instant like finisher. Normally V has like these stylish sort of animations that he does to kill bosses and everything, but Royal Fork skips all that. It just does an instant finisher. It's the same with normal demons as well. So that actually costs 1 bar of Devil Trigger, so these guys are gonna have to make sure that they have like 1 bar of Devil Trigger when they kill a lot of bosses with V, just to make sure that they don't go through the animations. Gilgamesh here, this is basically Devil May Cry does Shadow of the Colossus, and we're gonna switch back to Nero for this one, and he's just gonna be going straight into it here. There's just a big blood clot here on this boss that you kind of have to pummel away at in order to fight it. And Zero is just going to be, just taking his time here, because the boss has spikes that come out on its back, and you have to just make sure that in between the spikes coming out, you just take out the clot.
And the nice thing about New Game Plus is you have a lot more air mobility, so you might have seen at the start of that, Zero just pretty much got straight onto its back. And that's something you can really only do on New Game Plus because of the more tools you have available to you.
Yeah, it's the enemy step ability, which allows you to cancel or jump off enemies and jump cancel attacks and stuff. So since Gilgamesh's entire body counts as an enemy, you can just kind of jump up the sides there instead of having to sort of grapple up the sides like you're intended to on a fresh file. And looks like Zero's moving out of the Garion fight here and going to be going into Gilgamesh. So he's really going to have to hope that Zero makes a mistake or something on Mission 7 and just kind of try and go for all these skips and just get him first try. Yamanaro is also the only person that I've seen actually land Mission 11 skip in a run. So we'll see if... I don't think that Zero's landed in a run, so that's definitely something that Yamanaro has up his sleeve for later on in the run. We'll see if it pays off, though. And Mission 7 here, we're going to be switching back to V. This is another sort of mission that changed because of the out of bounds with V. We used to play Nero here. Nero just really went through this level extremely quickly. Once the out of bounds got found, though, V took over pretty quick. Saves at least a few minutes over Nero. Hello, the Deej. So we're going to be going out of bounds with Skewer again. Once he hits there's like a really dark area up here where you actually have to do the Skewer. And I should also probably explain a little bit about what's going on story-wise here. Basically, there's a demon king called Urizen that these hunters are trying to find. He's infected an entire city called Redgrave City, and everybody's just kind of like it's basically just like genocide by demon, like human genocide by demon. It's pretty gruesome. But you know, as long as you have the kitty scooter and the spike head to go out of bounds, it's not all bad. So there's that. Gonna teleport to that mushroom there, and then go through.
It's an interesting setup to get through the wall.
Yeah, I think maybe he's playing at 60 FPS. That definitely looked like a 60 FPS setup. Kind of just get forced through the wall.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you mentioned this earlier, but the skewer skip is kind of impacted by your frame rate. So at 120 FPS, you're able to skewer is able to push you a little bit further compared to at 60 FPS.
It's actually crazy how much of this also here's a nice little look at the the skybox here with the big body of water, and then off to the left you can probably see a park bench for a little bit here. Oh, he just went for that. That's risky. He just went for it. I respect it.
Sit out here too.
There's actually a lot of like out of bounds sort of rendering still. Ooh, no. Oh, that's bad.
Back a little bit.
That's really bad. Okay, good. It sent him back here. Yeah, you got
a little bit there.
Yeah, I thought that he was gonna get sent back all the way to the mushroom, but it's cool. Yamanaro just now heading into mission 7. Really gonna have to want to make up a little bit of time. Get some really clean skips if he's hoping to bring back the lead that he had earlier. Definitely was really shining on the Nero sections.
I would say, like, personally, I find mission 7 skip the hardest because there's just a little bit more involved than just skewer skipping through a wall. So you have to jump through here, and then you usually have to wait at the top of this staircase here, and then jump to the right, and then jump again while gliding with a griffin. So there's a lot more that goes on here.
Yeah, the way that you actually tackle this sort of skip here, which Zero he needs to adjust to it pretty quickly, otherwise he's going to lose his lead. You have to make sure that you kind of jump. You have to pay attention to like a certain painting frame, and then you sort of have to jump like off a hard right to avoid the invisible wall that you see Zero sort of going through. So there's like the painting there that's sort of rendered, and then there's just the frames. The painting that's rendered, you want to jump from the frame that's two to the left. That's the most consistent one that I've found. And so he's going to hit the checkpoint here, checkpoint back in bounds. And then he's going to be able to go straight to the boss fight here. Lost a lot of the lead, but we'll see if Yamanaro can get this first try as Zero heads into the boss fight, which is against the Angelos, the Proto and the Scudos. The Scudo is the ones with the shields, and the Proto is the one. Oh, very nice by Yamanaro. Very good, yeah. And the Proto is the one with the big claymore, or the big sword. And so there's an Angelo exploit here. We'll see if Zero gets it, and then I'll explain it, if it happens. Did not get it. So the Angelo exploit, V, or pretty much any character, can initiate an instant kill state on these enemies by parrying the formation that comes up. Where you see the big sword glowing purple. This initiates a formation sequence, basically. And if you parry it in such a way that it causes the enemies to reel back, it puts them in an instant kill state, even if they're at full health. And that allows you to just use Royal Fork to... there Yamanaro is going to get it. Killed off a couple of the Scudos there. Going to also get it, I think, on the Proto. Yep, very nice. Really good cleanup here. Like really good in mission 7 by Yamanaro overall.
Yeah, he made up a lot of time over mission 4.
Absolutely. And you see he's gonna... I think they're gonna actually be finishing up the mission. Like, no, actually Zero's gonna be behind now. Really good mission 7 by Yamanaro. Got 3 kills off of the Angelo exploit. Which just goes to show, how quickly the tides can turn on this character, as well as just how important that exploit is to understanding and exploiting, for lack of a better phrase. Especially because the proto here has a lot of health, like an absolute ton. So if you don't get the instant kill, then you're looking at quite a bit of time loss. Especially because when they're low on health, they get a little bit extra defense as well. For some reason, I guess they decided that was a good idea.
I guess.
The absolute tankiest enemy gets a defense boost when they're low. So we're gonna be switching back to Nero here for mission 8. The boss on this is actually sort of like the run back with the Demon King Urizen. And I want to say it's a force fail, but I know somebody's going to say, well, you can beat him. Yes, however, that's slow. So we want to get to mission 9 as quickly as possible. So we do just die to the boss. Don't worry. It's the only force fail that we're going to see left. So Nero's going to be coming in with Gerbera usage here and just Devil Breaker usage in general prior to the boss is a little bit weird just because the rooms here are really open, and if you want to do a whole lot of damage quickly, like to a big crowd, Gerbera is pretty much your best bet. Nice movement here as well. Really like Nero's vertical trajectories and vertical traverses. Uh-oh, spoke too soon. Commentator's curse. But yeah, Nero, when he powers up his sword, he gets additional properties on his moves. So if he has 3 stocks there of the flame, then he gets to do an extra high uppercut with his sword. And he also gets a triple jump on top of that. One of the many perks of Nero in New Game Plus. Really, really nice mobility, like Scruffy was mentioning earlier. But yeah, so prior to the boss, Devil Breaker usage in this level is really strange. Like you kind of have everything that you need to clear the rooms efficiently between your Devil Breakers. I mean, between your Devil Trigger and your Charge Shot, which is where Nero powers it's the blue glow that you see on his hand, where he's powering up his gun with demonic energy. So the Gerberas that they take here are just kind of like a quality of life thing. It's just sort of like a why not? You know, we have them. And you need the 3 or 4 Helter Skelters that are later on in the magazine. They look like a drill. You need them for the boss. So it's sort of one of those things where this mission in particular needs a specific set for it. So they just kind of bring the Gerberas because it's the best all-purpose breaker for this mission. And you can just kind of dump it in rooms like this. This mission is also home to the Riots, which I think is probably my favorite enemy in the game. They can jump off walls and stuff. Really cool enemy. Pretty aggressive too. That's kind of why I like them.
Yeah, they can be a little challenging if you're not prepared to deal with them. For sure.
For sure. Not that we know anything about that. But the goats here as well. They're like basically one of the mage type enemies. I would say that they're the goat, but they're really not as well. So, what is Faustless for a category? Razor Blade. So Faustless basically means that Dante cannot use his weapon called the Dr. Faust Hat, or the Faust Hat, and you can use any other weapon for Dante, but he cannot use Faust Hat because when you play New Game Plus unrestricted, all of Dante's sections just use Faust, and you just sort of power through everything like a truck, holding down shoot or doing meteors to everything. And that's not why some people sign up to play the character. So in Faustless, that weapon is removed from Dante's arsenal, so he uses everything else. And it changes every single level for Dante. So it effectively changes... let's see here. Yep, it's basically free nuke on demand.
It's pretty accurate.
It's like, you know, that tactical nuke that you would get in like Call of Duty for the 24 kill like win streak. Just imagine if you had that at the start of the game. That's basically what happens. So it changes. Let me see here. How many missions do we actually play with Dante? It's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It changes like 7. 7 missions in the run. Effectively almost changes half the run or so.
Oh, no worries, Razor Blade. I think that's a pretty legitimate question.
Yeah, especially if you're not like too familiar with the game. Definitely a good question. I think Zero should really try and do the. He did a pretty good cycle on the elevators here, but there's a different version that you can do of the vertical trajectory here, where you can kind of go off to another ledge that's in the background, where a secret mission is contained, and then you can just do a triple jump up to the end there. Avoids all RNG of the elevator. Looks like Yamanaro is also kind of pulled ahead here, totally. Just kind of holding on to that that mission 7 lead. Gonna take out the first phase here. Just gonna mash the gun so that he gets the first frame skip for the fight. Gonna go on to the second phase. And this is where he wants to actually damage this crystal as much as he can. Simply because the more damage that you do to the crystal, the more damage that Urizen does to you. And if you want to explain the health bars here as well, because of that.
Yeah, so this is why, even though it's New Game Plus, you're not seeing Yamanaro or Zero Madoki actually start with like a completely full health bar, because there are certain missions where, at least here in Mission 8, it's actually quicker to just die to Urizen. And the lower your health bar is, the faster you die. So these players would actually set up their save files to have less health for this.
Absolutely. I think the only other place that we really ended up making use of it, like I said before, it used to be the like Mission 5 setup with Garion. But there's also the Mission 9 on the Nobodies, but I don't remember if New Combat Tech sort of overrid that a little bit. I like that walking straight into the laser there too. That was nice. Just immediately get the hit from it. And we're going to actually go into the second to last V mission here. There's a couple of skips on this level. And they're pretty cool. They're not out of bounds. They're actually different. These were some of the, these were two of the first skips actually found with V. And the first one is called Tree Skip. And it's where you skip over a tree, but it's also a fight trigger, so I guess it works. The first fight we're going to be doing here, there's a behemoth here. The behemoth is basically just a big walking hitbox that doesn't care about what you're doing. And it has this armor on it, so you kind of have to knock the armor off first, and then you can just do it. It just runs, dude. It's just going for it.
It doesn't care.
It just doesn't care, man. And then if it burrows into the ground, it's like, all right, well, I guess I gotta wait. But hopefully the players can get rid of it. Oh, he's gonna use the big laser as well here, just to take it out.
I respect that.
Oh, definitely. What I would really like to see more from these players, personally, is more use of like general use of skewer. Skewer does a whole lot of damage in combat. It's not just good for out of bounds skips. It's also one of V's best sources of burst damage as well. So we'd really like to see a little bit more from them on that front. But generally speaking, they've got a lot of the like really good fundamental V combat going on. And so Yamanaro is actually going for the tree skip here. So he's going to be using the kitty scooter or the cat to sort of launch off the edge of this platform here. And then he's just going to be sort of hopping over the fight trigger. Going to be just doing a couple of cane swings into a teleport and then just flying over. Flying right over that fight trigger into the texture as well. Nice.
Yeah, so normally there would be a battle there, but he just skips through it completely.
Yeah, it's really weird some of the times. Like in the skips in this game, you know they work when literally nothing happens. I think, is he going to go for this here too? He is. Oh man, the mad lad. So this skip right here, this is actually a what's up? Always. So this skip right here is actually crazy. He's going to skip over this entire sort of this entire chasm. This is a very sort of do or die type scenario because I don't think that he's actually hit a checkpoint prior to this. Here we go. So he's going to do it. He's going to call Nightmare. and then cane swing, and then he's going to do promotion, and then sort of fly over. Uh-oh. Oh.
Okay.
Oh, he did it. Oh, the madman skipped over. And Zero is going to be really behind now because he did not hit tree skip, and I don't think he's going to actually go for that skip as well. That is, I think, a skip also that only Yamanaro does. Really, really dangerous skip. I think it might be consistent. Because I always see him go for it. I think what you have to do is you have to walk along the skewer instead of getting teleported along it. Because you saw him just sort of get like nudged onto it and he was able to walk across. And he uses promotion to do it, so.
I think Zero's going to go for it too.
Oh, he is. Interesting. Okay, maybe it might be super consistent now.
Well, let's see.
Let's have a look. Oh, you just kind of stand there. He didn't get the invisible wall, though. He didn't get the invisible wall out. Okay. Man, this is going to be heart-wrenching if he doesn't get this as well. Seems to be using a slightly different setup as well from Yamanaro. See, Yamanaro kind of went over to the left and Zero's here sort of on the right, so I don't know how much of a difference this makes. Props to these two gentlemen, though, for going for this in a marathon run.
In a run like this, or in a race like this especially, is impressive.
Absolutely. There we go. And did it. Very nice. Ooh, that's precarious. Okay, he's gonna wait for Nightmare to void out and then spawn back in. Okay, very nice. Very good play there.
Griffin was gonna nudge him off.
I thought so too, dude. I was so scared. Very cool. Very nice. Awesome.
I'm happy they both got it there.
Yeah, absolutely. That because, like I said, they didn't hit any checkpoints getting to that point. So if they voided out at a point where, after they had kind of if they had teleported or anything, V would have just been voiding out in the middle of nowhere, and they would have had to restart all the way from the beginning of the level. So that would have probably been the race right there. So really glad that even though it took Zero a little bit of time, he's gonna be pretty behind right now. I still kind of think this is sort of anybody's race, considering the skips that are coming up.
Yeah, still lots of game left to be played.
Absolutely. And looks like Yamanaro is going to be moving into the Dante section as well. So Dante is essentially a walking arsenal, and when in New Game Plus he starts out with all of his weapons. So his gauntlets, his big sword, his that looks like a surfboard dipped in molten lava, and his nunchucks as well as the motorcycle. He also has his shotgun, his double rocket launchers, and his pistols. He's just packing everything but the kitchen sink, and well, I guess Faust had too, because this is Faustless, so he doesn't have that. So you're gonna see Yamanaro using the drive move there, which is just sort of like the projectile coming from the sword, as well as the gauntlets here. Just take them out. And this stretch that we're actually about to get into here as well is probably my favorite stretch of the game. Missions 10 through 12, where you just play straight through as Dante. Really fun levels to do.
Yeah, it is a little unfortunate that we have to wait this long to place him, but I'd say the missions themselves are definitely worth the wait.
Oh, for sure. I thought he was actually going to get the... Yeah, so you see the little sort of pinwheel there, though? That's the setup. So the pinwheel there that happens on the uppercut. Dante's sword actually affects his other weapons. It's called the Double Sword Dante. If your sword's named after you, it's probably overpowered and cool. So it affects his other weapons in that the pinwheel there, when he's in Devil Trigger, it will pull enemies into the uppercut. So the best thing to do is just to have a bunch of enemies close to you and then just pull them all into one uppercut and just kill them all. We're going to also see Yamanaro. Throughout this, he's going to be dumping his Devil Trigger into that red bar that you see below his green bar, which is the health bar. The red bar is called Sin Devil Trigger, and it's basically the anime power-up Ultra Instinct style thing for Dante, or the Super Saiyan God type thing. I don't actually know if you would call it Ultra Instinct, because I don't think he's like at peace with anything when he's in Sin Devil Trigger. So it's basically just his big anime power-up. And it allows him to just go super powerful. And Faustless, Sin Devil Trigger is really strong, just because you have to commit to it completely and totally. If you could kind of dip in and out of it, it would probably be pretty good. But it enables a completely different moveset for Dante. So there's moves that we have access to in Devil Trigger that are not part of the normal moveset. And in Faustless, these moves are extremely useful, just because we don't have access to the nukes from Faustat. So in a regular New Game Plus run, you wouldn't see like any of what you're seeing right now. You would just be seeing the Faustat just kind of going to work on everything. When you take out the Faustat, Sin Devil Trigger, the Devil Sword Dante, the Bike, and Balrog sort of take over for it. And it's like, yeah, we got this, dude. Sin Devil Trigger, though, is mostly used for boss fights and just really, really strong regular enemy encounters, because when you go into Sin Devil Trigger, you have to commit to the entire bar of it. So usage of it is pretty sparingly, because you have to essentially dedicate like 10 or 13 bars of Devil Trigger to it. So you want to make it count.
Yeah, so it looks like Yama's just going to be cleaning up this battle with Cavalier, and then he'll be moving on to the Mission 10 skip just afterwards.
You want to explain that one? You want to take that?
Sure, yeah. So essentially, he's just going to duck into this room on the right here, activate the encounter, and then he's going to head out. And normally there would be, I think they're called chaoses here in this little like tunnel. But since you've triggered the previous encounter in the other room, the enemies don't spawn here, so you're able to just trickster through. So it saves a pretty decent amount of time.
Yeah, that's one of those skips as well where nothing happens, so you know it worked.
Yeah, if you see things, it didn't.
And that's one of like when I did this run at GDQ, it was one of like the weirdest things to explain that skip. It's like, yeah, nothing's there, so it happened. You know, it's like, oh, it's kind of anticlimactic, but also like, yeah, woo, we didn't have to do the fight.
Patched in special edition, eh?
Probably. They patched University Skip, so these guys are playing actually on the patch before the Virgil DLC, because the University Skip, or the current setup for the old setup for it, I should say, was actually patched in Special Edition and on the current patch for PC and last-gen consoles when Virgil was introduced, because it's my fault. You can blame me. Matt Walker and Isuna were able to watch my run and say that they saw the skip and they decided they were going to patch it. But I guess they didn't notice literally every other skip that I did, because, you know, nothing happened. So they were like, oh, okay, I guess he's just gonna keep going through the level. And no repercussions were had. I should also note, by the way, the bike does a lot of damage because it operates on a system called gear, and it basically, like, the longer you delay attacks between it, the more it will actually power up. So when you see the wheels glow orange like that, it's at its most powerful, which is in overtop gear. And it gets more hits on it, and it does like tons and tons of damage. So I know what you're thinking. Cosmic, does this mean that at higher FPS, the amount of hits that the thing does is way higher, like in Resident Evil 2 Remake? And I am here to tell you, brave viewer, that is not the case, and it is a good thing. Basically, Cavalier just operates on a multi-hit system. It's not just however long it's in contact with the enemy it deals damage. It has set amounts of attacks for it. So also we're going to see Yamanara here go into Sin Devil Trigger and activate a move called the Loose in order to down yours in here. This is also technically a force fail, but in ooh, that was nice. You see that nice slam down into the first frame of the kill? That was really good.
That was very quick.
So the loose there just kind of shoots out a bunch of little projectiles, little orange projectiles. I don't actually know what you would call them other than maybe pellets or something. It's actually a throwback to the DMC2 boss, Despair Embodied. It was a move that boss used, and I guess Dante just sort of scooped it. And yeah, I guess so. Zero here, trying to finish up these Hellbats. Move on to the Queen and Pusa, and Yamanaro is getting into probably my favorite level in the run. Definitely really satisfying level to pull off. Mission 11. So the boss of this mission is Cavalier Angelo. We'll get into him in a second. And the first boss or the first fight here is going to be against 3 Kanas or 3 the guys look like the prides from DMC3. Those ones, the Hell Kanas. He's going to charge up the sword projectile here, take them out. Gonna dust up the riot here with the motorcycle. This is why you need to play this game, by the way, if you haven't. There's one character that has a sword that acts like a motorcycle, and then there's another character that has a motorcycle that acts like a sword. That's why you need to play it. Got all 3 of the enemies there. Boom, skadoosh. It was really cool, yeah. Pretty nice movement here as well by Yamanaro.
Yeah, it looked like his movement was pretty good in Mission 10 as well, because it seems like he gained a lot of time over Zero, just in that mission alone.
Yeah, definitely. His movement's definitely improved, I think, overall from the last time that I saw him. And Zero actually opting to use the Sin Devil trigger here on the Angelo fight as well. So, very interesting move here. And just going to go for that. Power up there. I don't actually remember if Yamanaro used it on the Angelos, but I think that he did.
Oh, so it looks like Yamanaro is going to go for the skip here.
Yeah, he is. So this skip right here, the trigger for this fight is extremely high. So got to do a lot of these things here. Ooh. Oh, and he gets it. What a madman, dude. Still the only person that I've ever seen land that in a run. The fight for the trigger for that fight is so high up, and you have to do so many jumps, as well as the sort of jumps there with the bike that you saw. And you have to line up pretty much perfectly with the shotgun, and then you just get right over the fight. A lot of time saved there by Yamanaro. Beautiful. Beautiful. They're going to use the Royal Guard here, parry the attacks from Cavalier Angelo. Boom. Hit him with the uppercut. It's a little bit of lag there on his end. Maybe it's just the frame rate from he's going to teleport back to the ground there. Boom. Keep on uppercutting him. Going to run out of the ignition. I should note that the uppercut can only be done while the gauntlet's on fire, which you have to meet certain prerequisites in order to hit that. You can either do a manual charge or just do 10 hits with the punches mode. And down goes Cavalier Angelo.
Curious to see if Zero goes for the skip as well. At this point, he would kind of have to in order to really have a chance. Or at least a chance of gaining ground in the next few missions.
Too much slang. I mean, fair. I don't really have a comeback for that. It's just true. So mission 12 here that Yamanaro is getting into as Zero's trying to make his way through. We're gonna actually have to see if Zero opts for the mission 11 skip as well. Hopefully he does. I think it's probably his only way back into this race, unless Yamanaro has a really big mistake that he does. And this level here, there's actually a skip here that's totally intended by the developers. So normally you would have to use these items called Nidhogg hatchlings in order to open up doors to get through the tunnels that are here. However, using different mobility options, you can just sort of jump from gargoyle to gargoyle, because there's these gargoyle statues here around, or the balconies. And using all the different mobility options that you have, you can just sort of get onto all of them and skip all but one forced fight in this level. And there's actually a red orb bonus for this mission for completing the level without using any Nidhogg hatchlings. So they definitely said, yeah, we gave you a lot of height gain. Let's see you use it. So this is the one fight that you actually have to do on this level. And then you have to pop the other blood clots here. Another behemoth. Doesn't care. Looks like Zero's also going to go for it. Oh, he didn't get it. Unfortunate. Unfortunate.
Yeah, this is a pretty big time save, so that's going to send him back. But hopefully he can make quick work of this.
Yeah, it's not a terribly long fight, especially for New Game plus Dante. So
it's definitely less punishing than if you were to fail the V skips, for sure.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I think that if there's any run that, or if there's any skip that you're gonna fail in this sort of race, it's gonna. That's definitely the one that you want it to be. If you had to pick one, you know. Taking out fire bats here. Boom. Boom. Dead. Still has to take out the Proto Angelo here as well. What I would like to see him do here is just use real impact, and if you change out of the Swordmaster style that Dante has, if you change into Trickster, you won't activate the pinwheel, so you can still get a real impact off on the or the uppercut off on the Proto Angelo for free. Definitely would have saved him a little bit of time there. So Yamanaro, they're both going to be heading into the respective bosses of their levels here. And while Zero fights Cavalier Angelo, Yamanaro is going to fight Urizen again. And this time he's going to be forced into Sin Devil Trigger, which is why you didn't really see him building up to it earlier. He's going to always get it here. Going to use the loose again. And this is going to actually stun. Oh, very nice there. The jump cancel on the recovery of Sin Devil Trigger. Really clean fight by Yamanaro.
Yeah, that was why before he actually got into the encounter, I don't know if you explained this earlier, Cosmic, but he was charging up Ignition with Balrog before actually entering the encounter, because it sticks with you when you enter the boss room. So that's why he was able to just use real impacts there.
Yep, just come out swinging, take him to Duff City. So, and as I mentioned, normally, like when you come out of Sin Devil Trigger, there's like a big falling animation where Dante has to land and be like, oh, and catch himself. However, if you have enemy step, the moment that Dante is in contact with an enemy outside of Sin Devil Trigger, he can enemy step. So you can just totally cancel that entire recovery animation. So really nice positioning there and awareness by Yamanaro.
Oh, he's going to go for Nero here.
Yeah, he's going to go for Nero here. He usually goes for Dante. Kind of surprised. I'm pretty impressed with the improvements that I've seen here by him. Definitely has gotten a lot better.
PB, he used Dante, so it seems like he's made some improvements since then, which is cool to see.
Absolutely.
In a normal or in a New Game Plus run with Faust, you would just use Dante to nuke all these enemy spawners. But I think since you can't use Faust, it's actually just faster to use Nero here.
Yeah, Nero with Devil Trigger is Only a little bit slower than Dante with Faust, I think. Oh, there was a little frame drop there. That is unfortunate. He definitely a really strong character. Definitely. I don't know why he's opting to go with the Gerberoy here, though. He went with the Gerberoy first here. I kind of want to see him break that and then use the Buster Arm.
He's going to use it in this next room, maybe?
Yeah, it looks like he is. Looks like he might use it on the first one and then go for the rest of them with a nice drop down into the kill there.
That looked really smooth.
That was really nice, yeah. Very cool. Then gonna use the Buster Arm here. Just you see, just take he's gonna take the spawners to Duff City now. Very nice. Also using the little ghost arms there to do a little bit of extra damage. Nice little optimizations. It looks like Zero's also about to head to yours in here in a little bit as well. He's got to just get that get the last claw after this one, and then he'll be able to go and fight Urizen. Yamanaro moving into mission 14. So I should note, by the way, for everybody watching, it seems like Yamanaro's like super ahead right now. He's like 2 missions ahead, or like a mission and a half. That mission's really short, so it gives like a little bit of a false sense of a lead, if that makes sense. This is still like there's still plenty of this run that can go wrong. And it all totally depends on execution at this point. This is, I think, still Zero's still in this.
Yeah, if you happen to make mistakes on any of the late game bosses, they can result in like pretty big time losses. Especially on DevilHunter, where the strats are, I'd say, a little bit more difficult compared to human. Just in terms of, you have more health to chip away at.
Yeah, there's some strats on DevilHunter that either get elongated to like they're either elongated versions of human, or like the strat changes entirely just because of how a boss's health works. And you can't like letting them play in a certain way is gonna make it a lot slower. So you have to totally change up what you're doing.
Yeah, it does seem like Zero's had a pretty decent time with the bosses, at least, even if he's struggled a little bit with the skips. So that could be a chance for him to make up some ground.
See what we're gonna do here. He did not charge ignition, so I hope that he has a little bit of a backup here planned. He's not gonna use the. He's gonna get that animation there. It looks like he's gonna opt for a Cavalier version of this clear. Not sure I agree with it, but we'll see if it pays off for him. Yep, there goes the crystal again. So Urizen's going to respawn his crystal really quickly. And Zero's going to have to take out the crystal again with Cavalier. However, Urizen should definitely go down pretty fast on this second phase here. Boom. And he's down. All right, so V here loses all of his weapons, and you have to get them back one by one. So he grabbed Shadow first there to just take care of Artemis. Shadow Skewer, and just Shadow in general does a ton of damage to Artemis, especially if she gives you decent RNG. Gonna grab Griffin here as well. Just take them out here. Once again, I really would like to see a little bit more Skewer from these guys. I think that the pinwheel here is pretty good, but Skewer would definitely speed up a lot of these fights, do a ton of burst damage as well at very minimal DT cost. And go ahead.
Pinwheel is hitting Goliath for the most part, so he's still getting a good amount of damage.
Oh, for sure, yeah. This is also Matt Walker said that this is actually the order that they wanted people to fight these bosses in when they made this level, like when they designed it. They wanted you to fight Artemis and then Goliath and then Cavalier. And I think that the original order that we used to use with Griffin, then Shadow, then Nightmare might have also been the order that they expected people to pick the pets up in. But we threw him a curveball by picking Shadow first. So Cavalier here. Gonna take it down. These are also, by the way, weakened versions of these bosses that V is seeing. They're just mirages. So the amount of damage that you're seeing sort of get pumped out here. It's not like if you put V in the Nero levels or the Dante levels, he would just totally scrap with these bosses, easy peasy. Now these are weak versions, and then he's gonna go for the laser. Boom.
Yeah, it's really useful here because Cavalier Angelo just teleports way to the back of the arena, so the laser can just reach him. Also looks cool.
Yeah, I think that's mostly the reason to use it. Is it just looks really cool. But also that optimal thing you said. And that is going to be the end of mission 14 there. Just a little bit of movement. I think he's going to go for the skips here as well. There's a little bit of mini skips here where you can kind of skip having to pop some blood clots. You just kind of skewer through these vines that are here. This is something that I've not really implemented myself, so I kind of commend Yamanaro for doing it. Because it's not a whole lot of time saved, but he still is just like, yeah, I'm just going to do it, dude. I'm just going for it.
Nice.
Very cool.
Doesn't seem like you need to clip in that far. Like, even just a little bit gets you through.
Yeah, it looks like there's not really like a whole lot of collision beyond the, maybe like the first little bit.
Oh, we got them both first try. Wow.
Very nice. Maybe that's a little bit easier than I thought. I might have to look at that. I might have to look at that now. And yeah, so Zero mission finishing up mission 13, Yamanaro finishing up mission 14. And Malphus here. Oh, this boss can cause some nightmares. It's this chicken that also has a 3-headed woman on as like fused with it. I don't know how to explain that. It just is. You're just gonna have to go with it. You're gonna have to trust me. So we're gonna switch back to Nero here for the second to last time until the last mission of the game. And I wonder if he's going to actually go the way that I think that he's going to go. I hope he goes the correct path. He is not going the correct path. So there's a bunch of branching paths in this level. It's probably why it's one of the better levels in the game, even if things look a little bit samey, is that there's technically like 3 different paths that you could take, in total, because there's 2 branching paths and then another 2 branching paths. So you could technically take maybe like 3 or 4 different routes through it. And so Yamanaro is just sort of opting to go through this room here instead of this spike room into a fight with the chaos. He's just going to use this right here. Normally what we would do is we would go through a small spike room into a fight with the chaos and then take them out. Here he's just going to sort of dump the Gerber lasers in and then just take out all these goats.
Yeah, Gerber definitely makes quick work of enemies in more enclosed rooms like this one.
Yeah, nice movement there. Now he's going to also deal with the former Cleveland Browns defensive line. I hear that they're actually good this year, so I have to find somebody else to make fun of now. But yeah, these Angelos don't...
Maybe they're the Jets' defense now?
Maybe, I guess so. We'll go with that one now. That will be the meme. It's the Jets' defense. But those Angelos, they just kind of do whatever. Zero also going to be finishing up Artemis there. He also grabbed Shadow. So both players kind of stick into the same strats here. Taking out the Behemoth there. Really nice ghost arm here too, with the roulette spins.
Yeah, you see more strats here.
Devil trigger, baby.
I really wish we could do that in new game runs. Like
That'd
double
be real nice.
so cool.
It's so good, dude. It's like definitely a really nice quality of life upgrade. Ooh, okay. All right. I see you.
向きたいんだよ。
I'm liking it.
どんぐらい向きたいかっていうと、おもてなしの心ぐらい向きたいですよね。そう。
Zero also doing some really nice work with Royal Fork here. You see there's like a nice little chunk of damage that he's getting out every time he does it.
こいつは
Did not get the Royal Fork here. Just got here. Who's ahead? Yamanara, the runner on the left, is ahead. Kirby. And or Scruff. Favorite weapon in the run. Mine's definitely I would want to say either Cavalier or Balrog.
Ooh, interesting. I'd say Cavalier or Red Queen.
Red Queen's is really satisfying to use, yeah. I should have just pulled a curveball and said Nightmare. But definitely either Cavalier or Balrog.
Yeah, Dante just has such a unique toolkit.
Yeah. Definitely one of the most satisfying. Ooh, that's unfortunate by Yamanaro here. So he got hit while he was laying the overture bombs onto this bird woman. And so what that does is it actually activates a cutscene. Uh-oh, looks like something's going on here. All right, never mind. So it activates a cutscene where V appears, and it actually despawns all of the overture bombs that you have on the boss up to this point. So if you're laying if you've laid like 3 overture bombs and you're about to shoot them to blow them up, and then the boss hits you, that cutscene will always play and it will despawn all of the bombs, dropping a lot of your DPS. So kind of unfortunate there for Yamanaro, but he's going to take him out still.
Yeah, sometimes you will see safer strats done there where runners will take damage from Malphus to trigger that cutscene, and then they'll use the overtures afterwards. I know I've done that a few times. Just makes things a little bit safer, but it is slightly slower.
Especially for sure.
You end up using those or losing those overtures.
Yeah, that's the worst part. It's just like, oh well. I mean, it's definitely less punishing here than it is in New Game, where like in New Game that's literally all of your damage for the fight, so it's just all gone. Also, not going to see Zero here going for the skips on mission 14.
Probably a
Small
smart
skip.
Just to play it safe. Not
yeah,
doing
for sure. Yeah. Both players kind of staying on the same pace at this point too. Yamanaro heading into mission 16 here. This is going to be a whole lot of nuking with Cindy T. So there's demolition. That black hole there will always one-shot whatever enemy it is currently locked onto, unless it's a boss. So whatever max health it has, it will just kill it. And then Judgment there just does a whole lot of damage in a sweeping AoE. That big sword swipe there. That the sword swipes there that Dante does also mimic his father Sparta in the Devil May Cry 1 intro. Sort of a throwback to that. So I think what Yamanar is doing here is setting the Hellbats here up to. He was going to try and set them up to kill the behemoth for him. And those Hellbats, they'll explode if you sort of overload them with a lot of fire type weapons, as well as if you sort of like DT Stinger them a lot and they don't pop. So you can actually one-shot the behemoth there with the bombs from the fire bats. And you see Zero here actually going through the intended route of mission 16 or mission 15, the intended speedrun route where you kind of go to this fight with the chaos. Then you can just kind of take them out.
Double snatch there.
Yeah. Really nice double snatch. A little bit of a whiffed real impact there by Dante, but Boom, boom.
リアルインパク
Take
トを
them
取る
out.
ことに際の
Yeah, it's really important to take out that Fury because if you don't do it quickly, you could lose a lot of time.
落
So
下
Oh
した
yeah.
ときに必ず1回
He's definitely ruined more than one PB between
そ
the
の
two
せい
of
で
us.
最速でリアルインパクトを出すと必ず
Definitely ruined at least
落
a dozen for me.
残念ですね。親フラ並みの頃に来ます。
And I think he's going to use the lightning here on the enemy that's spawning in. Yep, he's going to use the lightning there to stun it. Get ignition. Ouch.
That's one dude.
Yeah, he got it wrecked. So the setup goes a little bit awry, but he's going to be able to clean it up still with the shotgun and the bike.
Yeah, this is where Yabanaura's lead is really going to help him because if there are things like enemies knocking him out of combos, he's built up enough of a lead that he can afford to take some small time losses.
Absolutely. Gonna chase after these nobodies here. You know, for a second I really thought, why doesn't he just meteor them? And then I remembered the category. And unfortunately, that's the first time I've had that thought, so I've been mostly holding it together. Here's the blueberries, by the way. These giant floating blue mage blueberries that just run away the entire time. It's good stuff. Trying to take them out. Bike. I feel like they actually had like some.
It would be pretty annoying.
Yamanara's mom is coming to his room. Unfortunate dude.
Maybe she's a Zero fan.
she's trying to get the lead back for Zero. Dude, can you imagine that if your mom was just like, yeah, I really hope that other guy just beats you in this race.
I mean, Zero is pretty cool. He also runs some Mega Man X4, and I think he runs a couple of other Mega Man X games. So
I want to say he does at least 4 and 6. I know for sure 4, but I don't remember if he does like X5. Yamanara just runs like a lot. On his stream layouts, he has a line that says "Time is Crash Bandicoot." I mean, this also works for him because he runs a lot of Crash Bandicoot games, but obviously the line is that time only moves forward, just like Crash Bandicoot. So you also see here Yamanara abusing something called Quad S. So when his style meter is at triple S like this, he can actually dip in and out of Sin Devil Trigger intermittently in order to just keep up DPS, and that's just going to take down Cerberus, the big multi-element dog here. Let's see if what kind of fight Zero is going to get here from Malphus as well. Seems pretty good so far.
I don't want to say anything. Oh, I didn't want to.
Oh no, Malphus just taking names out here today, man. And Urizen here. This is the wireless version of Urizen. So Urizen Wireless, not to be confused with Verizon Wireless. So he's going to get full Devil Trigger off of these guards here, these parries. It's going to allow him to get also the triple S rank, go straight into some Devil Trigger, or into Sin Devil Trigger, get a whole lot of damage going with the bike. Should probably readjust his height a little bit. Very nice. Oop, lost the style rank. Going to have to go into the fully committed Sin Devil Trigger here. And just go for it. Zero is still also having a little bit of a tough time with Malphus here as well. I don't really agree with this this judgment call here, just because when you use judgment, it actually resets an enemy's stun value, and on bosses, this just means that you kind of set your, like the payoff that you spend for the time and the damage is not really worth sacrificing the stun values, but he's still gonna clean them up
相手に一切
afterwards.
攻撃の
So
ターンを与え
worked
ずに
out.
落とせますんで。ちなみにこいつの衝撃波はただヒットするやつなんで。
Yeah, so coming up here,
ジャンプしながら
18 for Yamanaru would be another mission where if you had Dr. Faust, you would just nuke all the pets on your way there. But Yamanaru will do a few more interesting things here, including a skip, which I'm going to assume he's going for it.
Oh yeah, of course. It's gonna be pretty similar to the mission 11 skip as well. Just gonna be using a whole lot of. Why does Makai have Russian subs? I don't know, man. Maybe he just wants to go fast, so he feels like rushing around. So.
Oh jeez.
So then, yep, we're gonna see the same Sindel trigger stuff from 0. Very cool, clear. And now, by the way, spoilers, V is Dante's brother Virgil, but the human form, and Urizen was the demon form. So basically, Urizen is Virgil's Heartless, and V is his Nobody. So now Dante has to fight V's summons, and they're all bosses. I guess you can call them bosses. Nice little air taunt there as well to get a little bit extra devil trigger.
Yeah, so this is the skip coming up here.
Yeah, he's gonna totally skip the shadow fight. Devil may heart. Devil hearts cry. What's up, Anemone?
Very well done.
Ooh, very nice. Good. Skips right over that fight trigger. You can't actually skip this last fight here as well, just because the game, for some reason, uses this fight as a prerequisite to let you go to Nightmare fight, or to the fight against Nightmare. So even though you can get over this fight trigger and then head to the elevator, it doesn't do anything. The game soft locks. So you have to go and trigger the fight. Actually, it's amazing to me like how short these last few levels are as well. Like,
yeah, even the upcoming strap for mission 19 is pretty quick, but they just blaze by pretty quickly these last few.
Yeah, this might actually be a wrap on Yamanaru's end. So he's going to use the bike here, and then, ooh, hope he gets it. He's going to try and do a phase skip here. So Nightmare works on a timer here. If the timer expires, then it will teleport away.
Oh.
This might actually get it. Yeah, I think he got it. So yeah, this is another thing where like nothing happens, so you know that the phase skip worked. So he's gonna just be able to down it in one little shot here, like from his handgun or something. I don't know why he just decided to do the. I guess he decided to just end it with the ground pound. I guess. So now we're gonna fight Virgil, who's malding. After he has almost successfully, killed an entire city worth of people in order to gain power. Nothing doing though. Dante's like, let's just fight, dude. Let's just get this over with. And here we go. So normally with Faust, you would just kind of dunk a meteor on Virgil, and that would kind of be the end of it. It's pretty humorous. But here Yamanu is going to be abusing a lot of the gauntlets, Balrog. Or he's going to taunt him. I did not foresee this. Oh my goodness. You know what he's doing, right? He's doing RG only. You see the point that Dante's doing? That means he has no weapons equipped. He's going to Royal Guard only the Virgil fight. What an actual Chad, dude. What an actual Chad. I don't know if this is a flex or he's just having fun. Maybe he knows that he's in the lead. I don't know. But it looks like he's also going to use Sin Devil Trigger as well. You see him sort of like powering it up. I respect it.
It is really hard to do this, by the way. So people are aggressive.
You really have to play like very patiently because you literally cannot do anything outside of RG or outside of Royal Guard. A lot of damage there though coming out from Royal Guard. Forces Virgil into the into his Devil Trigger. He becomes very aggressive like this, so he gives you a lot of attacks to actually Royal Guard in a row. So this is really about where Yamanaro wants the boss to be at.
Yeah.
It's just I love this too when you lock on, he just points when he has no weapons equipped. Wow, dude. It's so good. Boom. I did not expect this, I'll be honest. Is he going to actually get this?
Oh.
I hope he gets this. Oh, okay. He just parried that man's jet plane back at him. Is he going to get the release on this too? Oh, no, he's just got the guard. Okay, I respect it. Okay. Fair enough. Ooh, and then just the release there as well. Releasing all the power back at Virgil. Very nice. Nice showmanship there by Yamanaro. And then last fight here as well for Yamanaro. Zero's has a little bit of a mountain to climb here. Obviously, I think that the race here is pretty much over in Yamanaro's favor. So I don't know if time is going to be called for the winner or just overall. So I'll call for both. I assume that RTA Japan is going to do their thing there though, but I'll just call it for everybody here at home on the English Restream.
Yep, so here Nero's just going to be using a lot of his double breakers to just pump tons of damage into Virgil.
And I think this should probably be it right here. Nice. And time.
Look like a 125-18.
Sounds like it, yeah. So we got about gotta wait for Zero to finish up here. He's gonna be going to work on Urizen. Very nice run by Yamanaro too, by the way. Very nice.
So this is actually only about a minute and a half slower than his PB with loads. So he played very close to his record.
Oh yeah, and that's with the RG only on Virgil, dude. That's really cool.
Curious to know what Zero's PB is now. Let's see. So with loads, he has a 130.27. So he can actually still do an RTA PB here in this run. I think these last few missions would have to go very well.
Oh, for sure. Oh, absolutely, fully. It's a really great game. I've been running it since launch. And I forget when you actually picked it up, Scruffy.
I think I picked it up in, I want to say like April or May of this year.
Of this year? Okay. It's actually less time than I thought. But yeah, no, it's a really great speed game. And,
yeah, I'm spring chicken compared to you, basically.
It's an amazing game, and it's a really good speed game. There's a lot of categories for like kind of whatever you're into. There's kind of something for everybody with this game. It's kind of what it's built around. It's just a lot of variety and stuff. It's really fun. Like, there's really not much else I can say. It's just really cool.
I will say this is also like the perfect time, even if you're not interested in running and you just want to watch more TMC5 runs. This is like the perfect time because Special Edition just came out. Virgil just released on both PCs and consoles for the vanilla version. And there's just a lot of categories that appeal to whatever your interests are. So So
yeah, there's a lot of runners too right now. Like Zero and Yamanaro have really been holding down the fort on the PC boards or on the vanilla boards, just running Faustless, and a lot of people are coming in for Virgil now. It's a really good time to run DMC5. And I do like what Zero's doing here, by the way, with the double rockets here. It's actually a guaranteed orb form there. Then he's just going to take him out with the uppercut. This is like one of the safer strats to do. If you're not really confident in doing the skip, that's like what you do to Shadow there. Or the cat is just do 2 rocket barrages and then just take him out with the uppercut. You can actually optimize it a little bit by just doing like the teleport straight in front of the cat and then doing it that way. So let's see if he does it here. Okay, he's just going to use the regular movement there. Very nice. And then we'll actually see what he does to take out Virgil as well.
Well, I think he has enough time to get with an estimate if he wanted the style.
That's true. I don't know if with how some of the early game went, he's going to be feeling it, but we'll see.
Well, he has been like he didn't do the skip or the previous one for mission 11. Or the previous one for mission 14. So
yeah,
he might just be wanting to play things safer, which I can respect, especially in a situation like this.
Yeah, this is actually an okay situation here. So he dies, and then he can immediately do this, and then this will guarantee the phase skip pretty much. Like, it's going to be really hard to not get it here, essentially. This is one of those sort of rare occurrences that you see of Dante doing a Red Orb Revive on this category. But it kind of worked out. You know, optimally, it's not going to work this way, but situationally, it's pretty good. So, going to really work out in Zero's favor here. Maybe speed up the level a little bit. Make up for a little bit of time that he lost not doing the skip. Boom. The only bad thing here is that you can't, like, because what I do to style on these levels is like throw the hat to kill Nightmare.
Oh yeah,
but you can't do that because you don't have the hat equipped. Griffin definitely just took him to the cleaners. They always want to mess with you while Nightmare's getting down there. It's quite unfortunate. So let's see what he's got in store for Virgil here. Because I thought I knew what was going to happen last time we saw this fight, but I apparently did not. So maybe they both agreed to RG only him. Okay, now he's not going to. All right. So no curveballs here. Going to be just building up with RG, though. Going to start on with the Cavalier attacks, get a little bit of damage laid on him. Probably is going to want to build up to the Send Devil Trigger. We'll see, though. I don't really see him dumping it right now. So maybe he just wants to just kind of use Cavalier with RG. Because Cavalier is doing a lot of damage right now to Virgil. That's like only 2 combos from Cav. This actually kind of looks like the strat that Cecilia used to do with Cavalier. Ooh, nice guards there too. A little bit of damage there from Royal Guard. I should also note, by the way, that you can build Devil Trigger while in Devil Trigger. So if your Royal Guard is really good, or if you're pumping out a lot of damage, you can have a whole lot of uptime on Devil Trigger. So you could probably keep it up this whole fight if Virgil was aggressive enough. And then here comes Jet Plane, JJ the Jet Plane. And then is he going to get it? No, he does not get it. Good attempt, though.
He gets it the second try.
Ooh, nice. Here we go. Ooh. Okay, Devil Trigger. Yep. Gonna just take him out here. Might have actually taken that on purpose. And down goes Virgil. And then should be a pretty quick and easy cleanup on Virgil with Nero. And that one will be time. So coming up here in about a minute or so, I want to say. Still going to be within estimates, so pretty nice showing overall by both runners. Definitely, I think both of them played pretty well throughout this. A couple of unfortunate. I actually thought that Zero was going to run away with this after how Mission 4 went.
はい。ぐるぐるぐるぐるクラッシュパニックだ。
But Mission 7, I think, was where the tide sort of turned.
はい。というわけでネロ君なんでね、もうグッドゲームですね、ほぼ。はい。お疲れ様でしたと。
Boom. All right. So let's see here.
Oh,
And ooh, unfortunate.
くらえ。
Saw what he was going for there. Just could not capitalize. Gotta just kind of get any damage that he can on him.
in time.
Time.
So
お疲れ様
look
で
like
した
133.46.
Very cool.
というわけでね、まあ
Yeah, very good run from both runners.
感想した
Very
感
nice.
想なんですけど、
Yeah, so that was Devil May Cry 5,
できません。
New Game Plus Faustless DevilHunter by Yamanaru and Zero Madoki. Good job to both runners. And thank you all for watching. Appreciate it very much.
お疲れ様で
GG.
す
Once again, my name is D Cosmic.
来年
And I'm the Scruffington. So thanks
So,
everyone.
So y'all have a great one.
6万 X ですね。じゃあ僕は